My name is Marilyn Johnson, a 62-year-old African-American mother from Atlanta, Georgia. I never had much, but I gave everything. I raised my only child, Jason, alone after his father left when he was 5. I scrubbed hotel floors by day, waited tables at night, and prayed in between. And Jason? He was my miracle. Quiet. Brilliant. Soft-hearted. A boy who once cried for an entire afternoon because a bird fell from a nest. He used to tell me, "Mama, when I get rich, you'll never work again. I'm gonna spoil you like crazy." He meant every word. Back then. And then, life happened. Success happened. Love happened. And slowly, painfully, distance happened. Because on Mother's Day, when he asked me about the $8,000, he had no idea why his wife sent it. He had no idea she paid me to stay quiet. To stay distant. To stay away. Mother's Day started like any other lonely holiday since he got married. I woke up early, made myself coffee, and sat on the porch of the house he bought years ago, the only thing left untouched between us. The house looked big and empty, like a museum of old promises. At 11:13 a.m., a black Mercedes rolled up the driveway. Clara stepped out first. Diamond earrings. White jumpsuit. Expensive perfume drifting behind her like a warning. She walked like someone who'd never had to run for a bus or work 2 shifts or live on prayers and biscuits. Behind her came Jason. My beautiful son. But tired. Thinner. Eyes dimmer than the boy I raised. "Mama," he said softly, hugging me. Clara placed her hands on her hips like she was timing it. We went inside for lunch. The tension walked in with us. Jason cleared his throat, avoiding my eyes. "Mom, can we talk about something?" "Of course, baby." He hesitated. Then the question came. The question that ripped open 6 years of silence. "Do you even like the $8,000 Clara sends you every month?" My heart slammed against my ribs. I froze. I smiled. I lied. "Yes, baby. I like it." Clara exhaled like she'd been holding her breath. Jason relaxed. But my chest tightened. Because if Jason ever learned the truth behind that $8,000, it wouldn't just hurt him. It would break him. Jason believed that money was love. Support. His way of honoring me. But the truth? Jason had never sent me a single dollar after he married Clara. Not one. The $8,000 came from her. And not out of kindness. No. It was money for silence. Money to keep me from telling Jason what his wife had done. What she said. How she treated me. And how she wanted me out of his life. Every transfer felt like a slap. Like a reminder that I was being handled. Pushed aside. Bought like a problem. But I stayed quiet. Because I thought. Maybe silence could protect Jason's happiness. But I was wrong. Because the truth behind those $8,000 began 6 years ago, on the night Jason brought Clara home. And that night, I heard something I'll never forget. I remember the first time I met Clara. Jason brought her for dinner. He was glowing. She was, observing. She scanned my living room like she was judging for dust. She touched the curtain with 2 fingers like it might stain her. She commented. "It's cute. Very small, but cute." I pretended not to feel the sting. At dinner she barely touched her food. She pushed the plate away and whispered to Jason. "This is greasy." I swallowed my hurt. After dinner, I stepped outside to throw trash. But when I returned, I heard Clara whispering to her friend on the phone. "Yes, he loves his mom too much. It's a poor people thing, you know. They get attached. I'll fix it." My knees nearly gave out. Fix what? My love for my son. Our bond? Jason didn't hear it. Clara made sure he never did. And 3 months later, she began fixing it. Jason called less. Texts became shorter. Conversations, strained. Then one day, Jason said the words that stabbed through my chest. Mom, Clara thinks we need some space, just for a while. Space? I gave him space his whole life. Space to dream. Space to grow. Space to be himself. But this space was different. Cold. Forced. Calculated. They moved to New York. He called once a week. Then once every 3 weeks. Then, hardly at all. Until the day the first $8,000 hit my account. No explanation. No message. Just money. 1 week later, Clara texted. This will continue monthly. Please don't pressure Jason emotionally. He needs focus. Focus? On what? Forgetting me. And the last message. This is our arrangement. Don't complicate it. Arrangement. That word still tastes like poison. I didn't respond. I cried instead. But I didn't tell Jason. Because love, sometimes makes mothers silent. Jason served lunch like he always did when he visited. He was raised right. Clara didn't touch anything I cooked. Instead, she ate a salad she brought in a gold-trimmed container. Jason handed me a velvet box. Inside was a necklace. Beautiful. Expensive. Cold. Mom, you deserve everything, he said. But his eyes held guilt. Confusion. And distance. Clara interrupted. And of course, your $8,000 allowance will continue. It helps you, right, Marilyn? Allowance. Like I was a child. Or a burden. Or some charity case. The word slapped me harder than any insult could. I opened my mouth. But before I could speak, the doorbell rang. Little Ariana, my neighbor's daughter, stood crying. Miss Marilyn, the shelter called. The stray dog you feed, he didn't make it. I couldn't breathe. That little dog trusted me. Waited for me. Loved me. Clara rolled her eyes. It's just a dog. Jason flinched. He always loved animals. I excused myself and stepped into the backyard. The sky blurred. My tears felt heavy. My chest tight. Jason followed. And that moment, that tiny crack in the day, was the beginning of the truth finally leaking out. Jason stood behind me quietly. Mom, he whispered, why didn't you tell me about the dog? I shrugged. You're busy, baby. He frowned. Mama, when did you start thinking you can't tell me things? When your wife told me to stop. When she paid me to stay quiet. When love became something I had to hide. But I didn't say that. He touched my shoulder gently. Mom, are you really okay? Like, really okay? His voice sounded like the little boy he used to be. I turned to him. I'm fine, Jason. He looked unconvinced. He lowered his tone. Mom, be honest with me. Do you like the money, or do you need it? My breath hitched. Because the truth was, I didn't like it. I didn't want it. I never used most of it. But what I needed was my son. But before I could answer, Clara barged into the backyard. And the real story, the 6-year secret, was about to explode. Maya stared at the white envelope on her kitchen table. The same envelope Clara had been slipping under her door every month. The same envelope that held $8,000. Money Maya never asked for. But tonight, she finally opened it. Not because she needed it. but because her son's question kept echoing in her mind. "Mom, do you even like the $8,000 Clara gives you?" And as she unfolded the bills, a single tear slid down her cheek. Not because of gratitude, but because of the truth behind that money. A truth no one, not even her son, knew yet. Maya sat in her small, warm kitchen while the streetlight outside flickered like an exhausted heartbeat. The house was quiet except for the old fridge humming in the corner. She held the envelope in her hands, the one she had avoided opening for months, letting them pile up in her drawer like silent witnesses of something she didn't understand. Tonight she opened it. And she whispered to herself. Why would a woman who dislikes me give me $8,000 every month? Clara, her son's wife, always wore a smile that felt expensive, like it was purchased from the same boutiques that sold her designer handbags. It wasn't a kind smile. Not a warm one. More like a smile taught by luxury. Yet she mailed Maya money. Money Maya didn't need. Money Maya didn't touch. Money Maya didn't trust. Suddenly, Maya noticed something she had never seen before. A tiny, faint stamp on the bottom of the envelope. Property settlement DISB. DISB, as in, disbursement. Her chest tightened. Settlement? What settlement? And why me? Her heart pounded as an icy truth crept up her spine. Clara wasn't gifting her money. Clara was paying her off. For something Maya didn't even know she had done. It was a year ago when Adrian, Maya's only son, started acting different. Not rude, not distant, just tired. Like a man pulling a heavy secret uphill. He visited less. Called less. And when he did show up, Maya noticed the stress stitched in the corners of his smile. Maya didn't ask. She believed in giving space. But now, opening that envelope, seeing that settlement stamp, her breath trembled. This wasn't generosity. This was silence money. Hush money. The sound sliced through the quiet kitchen like a blade. Ding dong. Maya froze. Who would be visiting at 9:47 p.m.? She wiped her eyes, slid the envelope under a recipe book, and walked toward the door. When she opened it, her entire world tilted. It was Clara. Standing alone. Without makeup. Without her polished, arrogant glow. Instead, she looked terrified. Maya, we need to talk. Maya almost shut the door. But then Clara whispered. It's about Adrian. And it's about the money. Clara sat on the old leather couch, the one Adrian grew up sitting on. Her hands shook as she held a single sheet of paper folded into a neat square. Maya. I need to tell you the truth before Adrian finds out I'm here. The words tasted like panic. Maya crossed her arms. I think you should start with why you've been sending me $8,000 a month. Clara swallowed. Maya. I didn't want to. I had to. Had to? Why? Then Clara said something that made Maya's blood turn to ice. Because your son doesn't know that I've been using your name. Clara took a shaky breath. A year ago, I made a mistake. A big one. I got into a business deal that went bad, horribly bad. And to get out of it, I borrowed money from someone I shouldn't have. Maya frowned. Who? Clara whispered a name Maya never thought she'd hear. Luther Kane. Maya's throat closed. Luther Kane, the loan shark who ruined 3 families on their street. Who charged 40% interest. Who once sent a man to the hospital for missing a payment. Clara nodded. I was desperate. Adrian didn't know. I didn't want to destroy his reputation, or mine. So you used him my name? Maya's voice cracked with anger. Clara nodded weakly. Yes. On the papers. On the loan agreement. I forged your signature. Maya stood up so fast the coffee table shook. You what? Clara burst into tears. I'm sorry. I was going to fix everything before anyone found out. But the interest grew too fast. Maya covered her mouth. How much did you borrow? Clara looked up with red, swollen eyes. $200,000. Maya felt the floor sway beneath her feet. Clara's voice dropped to a trembling whisper. And Maya. Luther thinks you owe him now. Clara wiped her tears. That $8,000 every month wasn't generosity. It was me paying down a debt in your name. I've been sending the money to you so you'd use it to pay him quietly, without Adrian ever finding out. Maya felt hollow. How could you drag me into something like this? Clara shook her head. I was wrong. Terribly wrong. But I was scared. And now. Suddenly, she stopped talking. Her eyes widened. She pulled her phone from her purse. A single notification glowed on the screen. Unknown number. We need to talk. Tonight. Clara gasped. It's him. Maya whispered. Clara, he knows you're here. Clara looked at her with trembling lips. No, he thinks you're the one paying him. He thinks you owe him. And he wants another payment, tonight. Maya felt her chest tighten. How much? Clara whispered. 20,000. Maya staggered back. I don't have that kind of money. Clara shook her head. I know. That's why I came. I need your help. I need your forgiveness. Anne. I need you to protect Adrian from this. Maya closed her eyes. Protect Adrian. Always Adrian. But before Maya could respond, someone knocked on the door. Hard. Slow. Deliberate. Maya's breath froze. Clara went pale. That's him, she whispered. Bang. 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 Maya's old wooden door shook violently with each hit. Clara grabbed Maya's arm. Maya, please don't open it. But Maya's instincts, the mother inside her, the fighter inside her, said otherwise. She walked slowly to the door. The knocking stopped. Silence. Then a cold, deep voice spoke through the wood. Maya Lawson. We need to settle your little debt. Maya felt chills ripple across her skin. Debt. A lie. A name she never wrote. A signature she never made. A loan she never took. But the man outside. He didn't care. She placed her hand on the door. Who are you? A pause. Then. Someone who expects punctual payments. Clara flinched. Maya clenched her jaw. Well, you have the wrong woman. No, the voice replied calmly. I have the right one. Your signature says so. Clara squeezed her eyes shut. Maya's voice hardened. That signature was forged. Silence. Then the man chuckled, low and threatening. That's not my problem. My problem is the $20,000 you owe me. Then he added something terrifying. And if you don't have the money, you'd better have something else. Maya's hands shook, but not with fear. With rage. She turned to Clara. Let him in. Clara nearly collapsed. Maya, no. But Maya's voice was iron. I won't hide in my own house. She unlocked the door. The hinges creaked. And standing in the doorway was a tall, broad-shouldered man with cold eyes and a cruel smirk. Behind him stood two more men. He stepped inside. So. Let's talk about my money. The man walked around the room, examining family photos, touching furniture, breathing in the space like it already belonged to him. Nice home, Maya. Shame if anything happened to it. Clara lowered her eyes, trembling. Maya stood firm. You forged my signature, Maya said, staring straight at him. He smiled. People forge things all the time. Doesn't change the debt. Then you'll deal with the person who forged it. He looked at Clara and laughed darkly. Oh, I have. But the papers say. Maya cut him off. The papers are fake. He shrugged. They're real enough for court. Then he leaned in close and whispered. And guess who will look guilty? The woman who already accepted $8,000 every month. Maya froze. Clara stiffened. The proof. The money. The envelopes. It all made Maya look complicit. He wasn't here for justice. He wasn't here for repayment. He was here to trap her. Unless, he continued, you pay off the full amount. Maya whispered. How much? His lips curled cruelly. 200,000. By next month. Maya's knees nearly buckled. A car pulled into the driveway. Headlights flashed through the window. Maya's heart jumped. She knew that car. She knew those footsteps. She knew that voice calling from outside. Mom? You still awake? It was Adrian. Her son. Her millionaire son. Her son who didn't know any of this. Clara went white as paper. Maya, she whispered, if he sees them. Maya raised her hand. I know. Because if Adrian walked inside right now, he would destroy everything. Including himself. The front door opened. Adrian stepped inside. And the entire room froze. 3 loan sharks. Clara shaking in fear. Maya standing between danger and her home. And Adrian, the millionaire son who thought everything in his life was under control, suddenly realizing. He didn't know his mother's world at all. Adrian dropped his keys. They bounced across the floor with a lonely clatter. His eyes moved slowly. From the man standing in his mother's living room. To the envelope on the table. To Clara's trembling hands. And finally to Maya's face. Mom. What is happening here? His voice wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. It was something far worse. Disbelieving. Heartbroken. Afraid. Maya stepped forward. Adrian, baby. Go back outside. I'll handle this. But the loan shark smirked. Too late for that. He crossed his arms. Looks like the whole family's home. Clara whispered. Adrian, please, just listen. Adrian raised a hand. No. No more secret meetings. No more late-night deals. No more hidden envelopes. He looked at Maya, and his voice cracked. Mom, why is he in your house? The loan shark stepped closer to Adrian. Because your mother owes me $200,000. Adrian's world shattered. Adrian blinked. Once. Twice. Trying to make sense of something impossible. My mother would never borrow money from someone like you. The man shrugged. She signed the papers. Adrian's jaw tightened. Maya Lawson has never borrowed $1 in her life. She raised me alone on 2 jobs. She doesn't take loans. People change, the man replied with a cruel grin. No, Adrian whispered. Not my mom. Maya swallowed. Adrian. But before she could speak, Clara broke down. It was me. Adrian turned to her. The room felt like a collapsing building. What did you say? Clara's voice shook violently. It wasn't your mom. It was me. I forged her name. I borrowed the money. Adrian stared at her like she was a stranger. You used my mother's name? For $200,000? Clara nodded with trembling lips. Adrian covered his face with both hands. Oh my God. Clara, what did you do? Then the loan shark added. She didn't just borrow the money. She put your mother as the guarantor. If she dies, the debt falls entirely on Maya. Maya gasped. Clara collapsed into tears. Adrian took a slow step backward. You put my mother's life at risk? The loan shark checked his watch. I don't care who borrowed it. The payment is due. Tonight. 20,000. Adrian's chest heaved. I'll pay it. Maya's eyes widened. Adrian, no. But he wasn't listening. He stepped closer to the man, taller, angrier, more dangerous than he had ever been. You want money? Fine. But you don't threaten my mother. Ever. The man chuckled. Millionaire boy wants to play hero? Adrian's voice dropped into a cold, steady stone. I said. I'll pay it. No deal. Adrian's eyebrows shot up. What? The loan shark smirked. The amount was 20,000. Now that the millionaire's here. He paused. Let's make it 50,000. Clara gasped. Maya staggered. Adrian clenched his fists. That wasn't the agreement. The man shrugged. I changed the rules. Especially when I smell wealth. Then he said something terrifying. And next month? The full balance is due. 200,000. In cash. Adrian stepped forward, rage trembling through him. You will not come into my mother's home, Anne. The loan shark's man placed a hand on his chest. Careful, rich boy. Maya moved between them instantly. Stop. All of you, stop. Her voice cut through the room like a knife. She turned to Adrian. Baby, this isn't about money. This is about you. Adrian frowned. Me? Mom, what are you talking about? Maya took a shaky breath. The money Clara sends me every month. The $8,000. The envelopes you asked me about. Adrian swallowed hard. Yes, what about them? Maya closed her eyes. Clara didn't want you to know about her mistake. So she used your success to hide it. She lied to protect your image. Adrian felt his heart cave in. My image? Yes, Maya whispered. She thought people would judge you if they found out she owed a loan shark. She used my name. Because she said you were too important to ruin. Adrian staggered back like he'd been punched. Clara sobbed into her hands. I didn't want people to think you'd married a failure. Adrian whispered. You didn't ruin my image. You ruined my family. She placed a hand on his cheek. Baby, listen to me. Adrian blinked, tears burning. I am listening, Mom. You are a good man. You came home tonight because you care. But you are not responsible for this debt. Adrian shook his head. But Mom, Clara used your name. And she will face the consequences. Clara's sobbing grew louder. Adrian turned to her. Clara. I trusted you. I believed in you. Why didn't you tell me? Clara clutched her stomach. I was scared. You're a millionaire. Everyone looks at us like we're perfect. I didn't want to be your flaw. Adrian felt like his ribs were crushing his heart. You were never my flaw. He clapped his hands loudly. Lovely family drama. Touching. But I want my money. Adrian glared. You'll get it. But you leave my mother alone. The man smirked. Pay 50,000 tonight. Or I come back tomorrow. Adrian grabbed his phone. I'll transfer it now. But the man lifted a hand. No banks. Cash only. Adrian froze. I don't carry $50,000 cash. That's not my problem. Then Maya spoke words that shook all three of them. I know where we can get it. Adrian stared at her. Mom, what are you talking about? Maya took a deep breath, her voice low and steady. When your father died, he left something for me. A box. With a key. He told me never to open it unless my family was in danger. Adrian felt his skin chill. Mom. I didn't know Dad had anything saved. You were only 10, she whispered. Clara wiped her tears. Maya, what's in the box? Maya swallowed. I never opened it. But I know where it is. The loan shark grinned. Well then. Let's go. Adrian stepped between them. You're not going anywhere near my mother. But Maya shook her head. Adrian. If your father left something for a moment like this, we need to open it. They left the house together. Maya. Adrian. Clara. And the 3 loan sharks following in a black SUV. The night felt darker than usual. As Maya sat in the back of Adrian's car, her hands shook. Mom, talk to me, Adrian whispered. What did Dad leave behind? Maya looked out the window at the passing streetlights. I don't know. But your father was a man who planned ahead. If he said the box was for danger, then it must be something important. Clara wiped her eyes. I'm so sorry. I ruined everything. Adrian didn't look at her. We'll talk later. Then suddenly, Maya whispered something that made Adrian's blood run cold. The box is inside the house we fled 20 years ago. Adrian slammed the brakes. Mom. You can't mean that house. Maya nodded. Yes. Your father hid it there. Before everything fell apart. Clara looked confused. What house? Adrian's voice was hollow. The house where my father died. As they pulled up to the abandoned house, the loan sharks stepped out of their SUV. Watching, waiting. Greedy for whatever secrets lay inside. Maya looked at the broken windows. The silent porch. The shadows that whispered memories. She whispered. Let's go. It's time. Mom, why are you crying? Adrian whispered. His voice was gentle, but Maya felt it like a knife. Her son, the millionaire everyone admired, stood inches away, staring at her trembling hands. The 2 men behind the kitchen door shifted quietly, waiting to collect their money. Maya's throat tightened. She had never been this close to losing her son, and her life. Maya wiped her tears fast. Baby, it's just a long day. Adrian tilted his head. He wasn't convinced. He never was. The loan sharks exchanged looks. She had only 12 hours to pay, or they said they would collect in other ways. Adrian's voice softened. Mom. I came because your voice didn't sound right on the phone. Tell me what's wrong. Her knees nearly buckled. Tell him and break his heart. Hide it and risk her life. She chose the third option. Delay. But right before she spoke, Adrian asked. Mom, why was there a man's shadow behind the curtain when I walked in? Her stomach turned to ice. He had seen them. He had seen them. Maya stuttered. A neighbor came for help. Adrian frowned. That shadow was too tall to be Mr. Miller from next door. She felt faint. The men behind the door went silent. They knew a rich son could cause problems. Adrian pulled out his phone. Mama, if someone is scaring you, I swear. No. She grabbed his arm. Too fast. Too desperate. Adrian's eyes widened. Mom, what are you hiding? Her voice vibrated. I'm handling it. Please trust me. He stepped back slowly. Maya Henderson, the strongest woman I know, is shaking. Something is wrong. He moved toward the kitchen door. Her heart nearly stopped. Mama, who is in there? Suddenly, A phone rang behind the door. A deep male voice whispered, "Boss, she's stalling. Clock's running." Adrian froze. Maya froze. Time froze. He turned to her, horrified. "Mama, what did you get into?" Her lips trembled. "Adrian, I will fix it. Just leave before." Before what? Before they hurt him? Before they saw he was a millionaire? Before they decided she wasn't enough payment? Adrian's voice cut through her panic. "Mom, open that door." Maya grabbed his hands. "I'm begging you. Don't open it." Adrian looked at her, then at the door. His jaw clenched. "Mama, are you being threatened?" Her silence was the answer. His breathing shifted, slow, deep, dangerous. "Mama, step aside." "No. You're shaking. Adrian, you don't understand." He pulled her gently behind him. "Whoever is in there picked the wrong." Adrian reached for the doorknob. The men inside tensed, ready. Maya whispered desperately. "Adrian, they want $8,000. He froze mid-movement. "How much?" $8,000. He blinked once. Twice. "Mom, that's nothing to me. Not to them." He narrowed his eyes. "What do they want in return?" Maya swallowed. "Me." He turned fully toward her, voice dropping an octave. "Explain. Now." "I couldn't pay Clara's apartment bill. I couldn't pay for my medicine." "Anne. You asked Clara?" His voice cracked. "I told her to help you. I gave her money for exactly this." Maya shook her head. "She didn't give me anything." Adrian stared at her like she had spoken a foreign language. "What?" "She never gave me a dime, Adrian." Adrian stepped back, stunned. "Mom. I've been sending her $8,000 every month. For you." Maya's mouth fell open. "What?" "Clara told me you loved the allowance. She said you praised her for taking care of you." Maya's voice broke. "Adrian. I have never received a single dollar from her." Dead silence. Then something terrifying shifted behind Adrian's eyes, a cold, focused fury. He walked toward the kitchen door with slow, lethal steps. "Mama, we're about to end a few problems tonight." He pulled the door wide. Two men stood there, tall, hard-faced, eyes sharp. They did not expect him. They definitely did not expect a millionaire's son with a storm brewing behind his eyes. The taller man spoke first. "She owes $8,000. Midnight deadline." Adrian stepped closer. "Fine. You'll get your money." Maya grabbed his arm. "Adrian, don't." He raised a hand gently, calming her. "You'll get your money," he repeated. "But after that, you never, ever, come near my mother again." The men exchanged looks. They smirked. "You think you can talk to us like?" Adrian pulled out his black metal credit card and held it between two fingers like it was a weapon. "Do you want payment? Or do you want problems?" The shorter man took a step forward. "What kind of problems?" he sneered. Adrian leaned in, whispering. "The kind you don't survive." The room froze. The men stared at him. Maya held her breath. Then they stepped back. "Fine. Pay. Now." Adrian smiled. But it wasn't a friendly smile. It was the smile of a man who had finally discovered who was hurting his mother. And was ready to burn the earth down to stop it. Adrian transferred the money. But he didn't stop there. He added another message to the payment. "Final payment. Do not return." The men received the confirmation. "We're done here," they said. They left. But Adrian wasn't calm. He wasn't relieved. He wasn't even angry anymore. He was beyond angry. He was calculating. And Maya knew that look. He was about to do something big. Adrian turned to Maya, voice shaking with emotion. Mama. Clara has been stealing from you and lying to me for years. Maya touched his face. Baby, I didn't want to cause trouble. You didn't cause trouble, he said softly. She did. He pulled out his phone again. What are you doing? Calling Clara. Maya swallowed. Adrian, she's your wife. He stared at her. No. She's my mistake. He pressed dial. The phone rang once. Twice. 3 times. Clara answered casually. Hey babe, everything okay? Adrian's voice became ice. Clara. We need to talk. Right. Now. Clara's voice poured through the phone. Adrian? You sound tense. Maya watched her son's jaw harden. He had never spoken to his wife like this before. Clara, he said slowly, where is my mother's money? The $8,000 a month I sent. For years. Silence. Then a small, nervous laugh. Adrian, is this some kind of joke? His voice dropped low. I'm not joking. On the phone, Clara's breathing changed. Shallow, fast, guilty. Adrian. I used some of it. A little. For bills, and clothes, and... He cut her off. You told me she thanked you for it. You told me she praised you. Clara hesitated. That's because, she should have. Maya felt like she'd been slapped. Adrian's eyes darkened. Clara. Did you ever give my mother even $1? The silence was her answer. Adrian spoke like a man whose heart had finally shattered. You let my mother go hungry. You let her skip medicine. You let loan sharks come to her house. While I was sending you enough money to change her life. Clara's voice snapped. She always acted like a victim. She's dramatic, Adrian. Every mom wants more money. He ended the call. Just like that. No goodbye. No explanation. Just a dead, cold click. Adrian sat on the couch, head in his hands. Years of trust. Years of marriage. Years of believing lies. All burning away. Maya sat beside him. Adrian, she whispered, I didn't want to break your home. He looked at her with wet eyes. You didn't break anything, Mama. She did. He stood up suddenly. I'm going to her. Adrian. You deserve justice. You deserve peace. And I'm ending this tonight. Maya's heart pounded as she drove with him to the penthouse he shared with Clara. The elevator ride was silent except for Adrian whispering. I trusted her more than myself. When the doors slid open. Clara was standing in the living room. Wearing a silk robe. Holding a glass of wine. Eyes red like she'd been crying. Adrian, please. We can talk. He walked past her. What did you spend the money on? She froze. Tell me. He pointed at the designer bags, the diamond jewelry, the expensive perfumes lined up like trophies. Maya had never seen a single one of them. Clara whispered. I just wanted to feel equal to you. I didn't want to look poor. Adrian stared at her. So you robbed my mother to feel richer? Clara's lips trembled. She makes me feel small. She reminds me I'm not good enough for you. Every time she looks at me. Maya stepped forward. Child, I only ever loved you. Clara broke down screaming. No, you didn't. You always judged me. Maya's voice cracked. I judged myself. For raising a son too kind for a woman like you. Adrian closed his eyes. Painful. Heavy. Final. Clara, we're done. Clara collapsed to her knees. Adrian, please. I'll give the money back. I'll apologize. You can't return what you stole from my mother, he said softly. Her piece. He handed her divorce papers, already prepared. Clara gasped. You planned this? Adrian shook his head. No. But I knew one day I might need them. She screamed his name as he walked away, but he didn't turn back. Not once. The car ride home was quiet, only Maya's soft breathing filled the space. Adrian finally whispered. I'm so sorry, Mama. Maya squeezed his hand. You did nothing wrong. You're my son. My heart. But you suffered because of me. I suffered because I kept secrets. Not because of you. He looked at her like she was the sky itself. I'll never let anyone hurt you again. When they returned home, Maya's tiny living room felt different. Lighter. Safer. Like a storm had finally passed. Adrian knelt in front of her and placed something in her hands. A checkbook. With her name on the account. Full access. Full control. Mama, this is your money now. Every month. No middleman. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Baby. I don't need that much. He smiled gently. You deserve more than I can ever give. The next morning was Mother's Day. At sunrise, Adrian cooked breakfast, the first time since he was a boy. He served it on a tray with flowers. Mama, thank you for surviving long enough for me to love you properly. Maya wiped a tear. Thank you for remembering who you are. He kissed her forehead. Then he said something she would remember forever. Mom. I'm buying you a new house. One where sadness can't find you. Her heart almost burst. Later that day, they drove to a quiet neighborhood. A beautiful brick home with a wraparound porch waited for her. Adrian, whose house is that? Maya whispered. He handed her the keys. Yours. She covered her mouth. No. Adrian, no. Yes, Mama. You raised a man worth millions. Let me raise you now. Maya broke down in his arms. Happy tears. Relieved tears. Free tears. That night, after she walked through her new home, touching walls, windows, memories waiting to be born, she sat on the porch beside her son. The stars glowed. Crickets hummed. Peace finally existed. Maya whispered. I almost lost everything. Adrian replied. But you didn't. Because you've never been alone, Mama. Not as long as I'm alive. She leaned her head on his shoulder. In that moment, Maya realized something profound. A mother never needs millions. She only needs her child to remember she mattered. And Adrian remembered. Forever.